Hey guys, it's Oak. I'm back again for another video. This time the Unholy Death Knight. So let's build a sequence. So this one I had some difficulty creating a sequence that just felt right in Dragonflight. So we're gonna do what we can. I'm going to reference my old Dragonflight sequence and try to see if we can emulate that in the new GSE. But this should be fun. So let's go. So to start off, we'll open up GSE. I'll go to sequences and do a new sequence. I'm going to call this Oak Unholy Single Target. So Oak UHST. To start, I won't pretend to know Unholy Death Knight as much as I know Retribution Paladin. I was able to cobble together something that worked in Dragonflight, but I'm going to see if we can do similar here. There's been changes. Things like Unholy Blight is now passive and occurs when you cast Dark Transformation. Apocalypse now spawns 4 Army of the Dead ghouls, regardless of how many festering wounds are popped. You're talenting into Raise Abomination instead of Army of the Dead, which Raise Abomination has a 1.5 minute cooldown, whereas Army of the Dead had a 3 minute cooldown, and there's no more cooldown reductions for Army of the Dead. So those are a few things that have changed. There are other changes, of course, but that's the things that will affect how this sequence is written. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start with the regular target enemy, no harm, dead. So then we're going to do the cast no pet, raise dead. So that just means if we don't have a ghoul, it will pop a ghoul. While I'm thinking about it, we're also going to select the resets upon combat, so that just means that the whole sequence will reset when combat ends. Now I want to put a few modifiers in here. One main one is Abom Limb. Um, I suggest that to be something that you pop because there's so many cases where you don't want your Abom Limb to be pulling mobs in. So you want to be able to control that. Yes, you do want to pop it a lot. You do want to pop it to AoE packs. But if there's a situation where there's something that you don't want pulled into your group, you don't want to hit that button. So that's why you don't want it to be baked into your sequence. We'll go ahead and do start attack and pet attack. And actually, I'll move those above Abom Limb. Alright, you see we're at 113 characters. And let's go ahead and put a Battle Rez modifier in here as well. So this will make it so if you hold down control on your mouse over and they're friendly and dead, then it will Battle Rez them. Otherwise, if you're holding down control, it'll pop a Death Strike to try to do a heal on yourself. Let's go ahead and save from here. And then from here, we will just go into our priority list. So for that, I'm going to create a priority loop. I'm going to set that to reverse priority. So what that's going to do is going to try to evenly spread out uh, the different abilities throughout the priority, but it's still going to make them hit more often. So start out by getting Raise Abomination in here, as that should be a high priority. We want the Abomination to come out. I may do a no CDs version of this that removes Abomination from it, but for the base, the one that will be completely lazy, I'm going to keep Raise Abomination in there. So let's do another block. For this block, I kind of want a cast sequence that resets on target. So cast sequences do not work in these type of action blocks. We'd have to create a macro to do that. We have to do it the in-game macro menu. So /M, go to new, and this one I'm going to say outbreak. So that's what I'm going to name the macro. So choose the question mark and then hit OK. Now, since that's what I'm going to put here, I'm going to paste or copy and paste that same name here. Now for my macro, I'm going to create a cast sequence that has a reset target. So this one did have reset combat and target because this is a remnant of Dragonflight, but in the pre-patch, the whole entire sequence is going to be reset in combat, so I don't need the reset combat here. Um, what this is going to do is when I change targets, it will then try to outbreak and then festering strike, and then it'll stop because it won't be able to find a null spell. So I also want to put my self heal and the raise ally here as well. So I'm going to put that in front of it. So this will also try to do that. So we'll go ahead and save this and then exit. Then what I want to do is I want to go to GSE's macro and then go to the outbreak, and I want to manage this macro with GSE. And the reason for that is when I output this sequence for people to use, this will allow me to output the macro with it as well. So let's go ahead and close that. Now this will call that macro. While I'm thinking about it, I'm going to go ahead and put that here also. So let's just hit save. Now I want to do apocalypse. So let's go ahead and keep this here. I'm going to use this as my base and then create a new action block. I'm going to paste this in here, but I'm going to change this to apocalypse. Save. If you're not seeing the colors change, by the way, you can just hit configuration and then click back to 1, and you'll see the colors change to show that it did save. Then I want to do a dark transformation, and actually what I want to do is I want to put that above apocalypse. So I'm looking at the wowhead priority for an opener. So I'll put that on screen as well. But that's what I'm looking at when I'm making this to determine where I want to put things. So let's go ahead and paste this same block here. And I'm going to change this to dark transformation. All right, so if you notice, all of these are only going to happen if they're in combat so far. So we're going to need something to actually break that combat. But before I do that, I want to put a death and decay down. So we'll put that at the bottom here. So death and decay, I want that to be at player. Since I'm a melee class, I want that to be at my feet. So that's where that is. I may consider putting that on a modifier in the future depending on how this performs. So that way you control when the death and decay drop. But I will go ahead and put this top line here as well. Save. All right, and then I'm going to put another cast sequence in here, but this one doesn't have any resets in it. This is basically going to go between Festering Strike and Scourge Strikes, and then toss an Outbreak in there again, just in case diseases are not covered on things. So we'll go ahead and put this on the end. We'll go ahead and save that. And I've been thinking a lot about the Outbreak block. It may not be necessary any longer. It was in Dragonflight. But now we have a lot more things that will put Virulent Plague on things. So it may not be as necessary. So I'm going to go ahead and save it like this for now. I'm going to want to put a death coil in here. But I'm not sure where I want it just yet. So maybe it'll replace this outbreak. But yeah, let's go ahead and do that for right now. and save. And while I like this here, I also want to put it at the start. Let's put it after our starting attack block. And let's hit save. So let's go to our configuration, come back here. I only want this to repeat one time because I want it to get back to these, of course. And it looks like I did not go over my character count anywhere, so that's good. Let's, we have enough room. Let's put a leap in there. So our pet will leap in and hit save. So that looks to be it for that. For Unholy, what we're going to do is we're going to put an epidemic instead of a death coil. Almost forgot to switch this to AE. So let's go ahead and save that. Want there to be a different epidemic in here as well. But let's try this out and see how it looks. So we have our single target with death coil. We have our AoE with the epidemic. All right. Let's close this out and go find some training dummies. And here we are at the Valdraken training dummy area. We need to keybind our sequences. So go back to GSE, go into key bindings, we'll hit new. I like the brackets. Single target for left bracket, save. Then right black bracket, we want to be AoE, save. We got our keybound saved there. Close this, and we should be good to go. So let's go in and start our sequence. Now this character is not heavily geared. He's a 488 item level. His stat weights are not ideal. So the DPS isn't going to be all that. But what we want to do is we want to look at the weak ore and just see if everything's going off as we expect. It looks like it's locking up on something. Alright, so what I bet it's locking up on is that cast sequence that I put in there. So let's change a few things. Let's call my pet off. So go passive ghoul. Wait to get out of combat. And let's change a few things. So open up GSE. Go to sequences. I am going to disable this block. And this block down here, what I want to do is I want to give it an out just in case it runs into locking up like that. So let's add a new block, but I want to add it after the loop. So I'm going to add a new action block. It will put that after the loop. I'll put a festering strike there, and then put a scourge strike here. Save. So that's in my AoE rotation. If this works, then I'll add it to the single target as well. So save, close, close, and let's go again. So this weak ore has not been updated because it still shows Unholy Blight here, but that ability is not used any longer. One other thing that I'm noticing is apparently this talent build uses Soul Reaper. So I'll need to put Soul Reaper into the sequence somewhere. At full runic power. And that's where it's locking up. So let's call him back. And let's see what we can do. Sounds like we need some more epidemics. And let's just spread this one out a little bit more. And again. So this is what I like to see. I like to see my runes go down, my runic power go up. My runes go down, my runic power go up. I like to see it all being used. Looks like it's locking up again. There's no disease on the target. So we do need an outbreak in here. Trial and error. Trial and error. That's the name of the game. So sequences. Let's see. I don't want to get too bloated. 32 actions is not bad. So let's go back into this sequence, this cast sequence. Oops, and I have a reset in that. No wonder that's not right. Save that. Maybe that's what's causing my problem. Let's save that. Because those resets don't work. So it wasn't ever getting to the outbreak. So let's go ahead and save that. That might have been my problem right there. So let's go back in, try it out. So we see our diseases going on the targets. We have our Abom out. We have our transform ghoul out. We have our Maguses back here. Alright, this is looking good so far. Our diseases are staying up. Doing about 580k DPS, which, in my opinion, at 488 Abom level is not terrible. Keeping things built up. Keeping diseases on the targets. Yeah, I think that that combat reset was my problem. So if I want to do Abom Limb, then I just hold down Shift and Alt, and it would pop my Abom Limb, which increases my DPS by quite a bit. The fact that I was not popping that obviously affected things. I'm about to pop our Abomination again. There he comes. Yeah, this one looks pretty good. It's not locking up. Let's call our pets off. Get out of combat. There we go. As I am not an expert with Unholy Death Knight, something I was noticing is this ability here, Vile Contagion. I haven't been using it. What it does is it spreads festering wounds. So I will put that into the sequence since it's only on a 45-second cooldown. It doesn't seem like it could hurt. I will also put a Soul Reaper in there for execute phases. Look at how busy this area is. People just standing right on top of me. How rude. So let's go in, GSE, sequence. Vile Contagion obviously would only be needed in AoE situations. So that is one ability that I'll keep just to the AoE version. It is on the GCD, so we'll have to pay attention to that. What I'll do is I'll put it right under Apocalypse Contagion. Okay. And then I will put the Soul Reaper. Soul Reaper, what I've done in the past is I've put it on a modifier as well, since you only want to use it if the target's going to be less than 35% hit points. But yeah, let's put it in here on a modifier. In the past, I've had it on Shift-ALT along with Abom Limb, so I could do the same thing here. Yeah, let's go ahead and just try that. We'll put it on this block. Save. Go in and see what happens. Right off the bat, doing about 590 DPS. When this target's health gets low, I'll hit Shift-ALT to do a Soul Reaper on it. Let's do a Soul Reaper. There we go. Another Soul Reaper. There we go. So yeah, when you see Soul Reaper light up because the target's health is where it needs to be, if you hold Shift-ALT, it'll pop a Soul Reaper. This seems to be working pretty well. So open up GSE. We will save this as single target. Hit save. So that's basically going to copy everything that we did in the AoE to become single target. So then we're going to go in here and we're going to change the lines that have epidemic and we're going to make those be death coil. That's one death coil and this is the other death coil. We're going to save that. Then we also will get rid of Vile Contagion since that's an AoE thing. And for giggles, we will go into the Wowhead suggested single target build. Alright, let's go on a single target. So watching this rotation, it seems to be doing everything that it's supposed to be doing. I don't have Unholy Assault in my sequence, so we'll have to put that in there. We'll put that in both sequences, just in case someone is using that talent in the AoE version. So let's go GSE, sequences, single target, Unholy Assault. We're gonna put right after Dark Transformations. So let's add a block here. But Unholy Assault. Save. And what we'll do is we'll put that in the AoE version as well. So go here, go to 1, right after Dark Transformation. And let's take a look at our compiled template again, just to see how many actions we're up to. Alright, so we're up to 40 actions. It's still not terrible, but you don't want this to get too bloated. So that's why you have to pay attention. These priority sequences, because of how they work, they're basically creating multiple blocks for each action that's in here. So they're kind of behind the scene blocks, but they can cause your sequence to get bloated, which means that's more key presses that you have to go through to get to every ability. So that's why you want to try not to get these too bloated. You want to try to streamline them as much as you can. So let's go ahead and try it again. Oh, it's much better. 240 DPS, single target. It's a lot better than what it was. Yeah, I can live with this. Like I said, my item level's not all there. My stats are not ideal. My trinkets are not being used. I should probably put those into the sequence too. So yeah, let me go ahead and do that. And then I think we should be good to ship this. You see, put some trinkets in here. Where do I want to put them? You know, I got plenty of characters here, so let's just put them under the first block in the priority loop. So use bracket combat nomad no channeling bracket 13. Same thing here, and put 14. And hit save. We're 207 characters. So I want to add this to the AoE version. So let's go to AoE version, go to the first block after this, paste, click save. All right, so there we have it, single target and AoE sequences. And let's just go through here and clear out any CDs so we can make a no CD version. So I'm going to make a no CD version first and then clear things out just so I don't accidentally mess up one of my other sequences that I've already made. So we got Oak, Unholy, no CDs, save. We'll wait for it to pop up in the list over here. There it is. All right, so let's get rid of the CDs. So no real CDs in that first one. Raise Abom is a CD, so we will get rid of that along with the trinkets. Okay. We do want Epidemic. Dark Transformation is on a 45-second cooldown. Yeah, let's go ahead and take it out. Unholy Assault we'll take out. We won't need two Epidemics back to back any longer, so let's get rid of one of them. Apocalypse is a 45-second cooldown. Biocontagion is a 45-second cooldown, so we'll get rid of that. Death and Decay we'll leave in there. And as you see, it's just basic strikes and Death and Decay now. So the no CD version is not going to do much because everything's in the CDs, but that's just in case you know that a boss fight's coming up and you're going to need those cooldowns. And if you have a third key that you can set up to this. So I'll show you what I like to do. As you know, I like to use the brackets. So in the key bindings, I'll go to new. The backslash is right next to the brackets, so I'll set that and then set it to no CDs. Click save, and now I have 3 key bindings right there for the 3 different sequences that we've created. Well guys, that should be it for today. I hope you enjoyed watching the creation of this sequence, and if you like, you can build along with me, or I'll just put the download link in the description. Thank you again for all of your likes and everyone who has subscribed. I appreciate every comment that goes down below. But otherwise, I hope you all have a great day.